Hey there, replayers and everybody joining. Wow, there's already 3 people live on here. My name is Tom Rigsby, your results coach. I'm also the host of humbly might I say, a long-running podcast called 7 Minutes in the Morning. You can find that at 7minutesinthemorning.com. I know, right? Shocker. So I'm kind of sort of testing out the waters here with Periscope. First of all, thank you all for joining. Let me see. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for joining today's topic. I'm going to try and do these every day, at least 5 days a week during the week, same days that I do the podcast. In the event that I don't, I'm sorry. We're just giving it a shot. So today, let's talk about a quote for the day today, Saturday. And since this is quotes and coffee, just to prove I'm on board, cup of coffee. Now it does say, I don't know if you can read that or not, that's University of Texas. We're actually in Alabama right now, so I'll have my Alabama mug out during the week. All right, so quote of the day today actually comes from Lily Tomlin, and I'm going to look right over here at my screen to read it to make sure I don't screw it up. All right, the problem with the rat race is that even if you win, you're still a rat. One more time, the problem with the rat race is even if you win, you're still a rat. So the question is, are you a rat? Right? So I talked to, I'm a results coach, business coach. Hey Jeremy, man, honored to have you here. So I just shared with everybody else, just for Jeremy's benefit, our quote of the day today. The problem with the rat race is that even if you win, you're still a rat. So my question for you is, are you still a rat? We talk about trying to get out of the rat race and escape it, and yet everything that we do, almost every day, just contributes to staying in the rat race, getting ahead in the rat race, right? What are you doing today to get out? And actually, this is a great day to have this quote, because I talk to people all the time. Man, Tom, I want to do something different. I got to get out of this job. I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing this weekend? Well, this weekend I'm going out on the lake, or I'm going fishing and whatever, right? The problem with that is that if you want different results, you have to do things differently. As long as you're spending your time doing unproductive things, you're not going to get productive results, right? So the question for you, and this is what I want you to take away today. If you want different results, what are you doing differently today? What are you doing to try and get out of the rat race? And I personally am honored to have Jeremy on board with us today. One of the hosts of the long run, I guess you guys have been doing it for 10 years now, right? Or is it close to 10 years? The long-running podcast, Internet Business Mastery. Yeah, worked very hard to leave in 10 years, yeah. And it is hard work, right? And look, that's what my granddad used to say, and you've probably heard it too. If it were easy, everybody would do it. It's not easy. And not only that, I wasn't planning on this quote. This is your bonus quote for being here on Saturday. I'm actually reading Motivation Manifesto by Brendon Burchard, and I've got so much highlighting in here, it's probably easier to read the things that aren't highlighted. But one of the things that he talks about is the criticisms of a conformist, even all the way back to school, right? Be at your desk when the bell rings, sit down when the bell rings, get up, go to lunch, go to the bathroom, go home. Well, they even train you to do free work at night, right, with homework, right? So those people that are in that conformist culture, they don't want you to get ahead. You're breaking away. You're proving to them that it can be done. And then that makes them feel bad, right? So that's those people over there. We feel good because we're getting out of the rat race. So for those of you that are here, those of you that have a question or a comment, what's been the hardest thing for you to get out of the rat race? If you have already escaped, what was the big hurdle? What was that pivotal point where you knew you were going to make it? Or I guess who's the guy that rolls Sisyphus rolls rolls the stone up the hill every day? What's your stone that you feel like you're having to roll up the hill every day? We can talk about it, see if we can find a solution for that. If not, then we can talk on or work on comments, continue this conversation rather in the comments here. Now, I'm going to try something with this scope also. I think it's Chris Ducker I saw this on. I'm going to try and put this in a frame and make a decent looking Yahoo, or not Yahoo, YouTube quote out of that. One thing that was hard for me is my wife didn't buy into it. She liked my job. And you know what? That's kind of funny. Funny how that works out, isn't it? A lot of times our significant other is the one that can be the biggest hurdle. And so that's interesting that you brought that up. This is the coaching that I'm doing now. This is my 7th business that I've started. Some of them I bootstrapped, some of them I got financing for, some of them went really, really well, and some of them are still, ex-wife. Maybe those two things are related, Jeremy. Some of my businesses went really well, and at least one of them is still a smoldering hole in the ground, right? They don't always work out the way that we thought. And one of the things that I've realized this time, and I have to be very intentional about doing it, is including my wife. She doesn't have the same risk profile that I do. You know, we had dinner last night with a fellow entrepreneur here in town, and we were talking about that. And how I pose this question, I teach a class on entrepreneurship here locally a couple of times a year. And one of the questions that I pose to the class is, okay guys, if I could guarantee that I'd pay you back $50 if you gave me 10, would you give me $10? And almost everybody in the class says, yeah. I was like, okay, how about if I could guarantee $500,000 if you give me 100,000? Would you give me 100,000? And much fewer. In fact, I think this last class, nobody took me up on that deal. And I'm like, well, it's the same deal. It's a 5-to-1 return. The only difference is that the numbers are larger. And it's not that entrepreneurs don't have a fear of risk. In fact, we have a great fear, I do anyway, a great fear of risk. I'm just smarter about the risk that I take on. So now let's get back to my wife and how that works out. She doesn't have the same risk tolerance profile that I do. And so in some of the businesses that didn't go well, when things were not well, I didn't really have somebody that I could come back to and say, man, we had a terrible day of revenue today, and payroll's coming up at the end of the week, and not really sure what we're going to do. Pretty much had to suffer in silence, and that was not helpful for me. So this time I've tried to be much more intentional about including her in that process. And along the way, I felt like I was protecting her. But as it turns out, along the way, she's gotten much more, I don't know if risk tolerant is the right word, but at least she understands where I'm coming from. I've got somebody that I can talk to. A good friend of mine who is a pastor, actually, that does a lot of weddings. One of the things that he says in the weddings is that when you get married, you have someone that can double your joy and half your burden. But you don't get to take advantage of that if you can't share those things with them, right? So, Jeremy, thanks for that. That's a great insight and a great point that a lot of times we overlook. We'll get into a business, we'll get into an opportunity and think, oh man, I can handle this. I'd say it's rare. And Jeremy, you've talked to a lot of people. I'd be interested in what you think too. But I think it's actually pretty rare that you can find a person who can handle that on their own. If they're in an important connected relationship like that they can successfully segment those things, business from life. So question was, how many businesses did I try before I succeeded? I probably was, that didn't help because the first two went really, really well. And so one of the reasons so I had two that failed catastrophically. The first couple went really well. The next couple did okay. I mean, they were all right, but we just kind of puttered along and never really got to that tipping point where I can say, okay, this is something that's going to take off. So, but because those first couple went so well, I kind of, got an attitude about me that, oh, I can do this. This is easy. And I don't know. I don't want to say that it's easy. It is. It's a lot of hard work. It's simple, right? You have to do the simple things. You have to do those things every day that other people are unwilling to do every day. And I do think that you have to have, like I said, some crazy level of risk tolerance. But you just have to be smart about it. I mean, a 5-to-1, like one of the things that I tell right, I had a couple that crashed and burned before the next couple did awesome. And that's, that's commendable also because you kept coming back. I mean, a lot of people, especially in this entrepreneurship class that I teach, they ask questions like, well, how can I make sure this is going to work? How can I make sure that I won't fail? Like, I mean, there are things that you can do to improve your chances, but nobody's going to give you a guarantee, right? It's all up to you and how hard you work. Man, this is a bonus quote today. Something else coming from Brendan's book. And I actually will probably do a whole session on this quote because this is a great one. That all men and women are created equal, though we do not live equal lives due to differences in will, motivation, effort, and habit. I can't tell you how your business is going to turn out because I don't know how much effort you're going to put into it. Right? It's all up to you. But I can show you the things that you need to be aware of. I can show you some maybe strategies and tactics to help mitigate some of that risk. But really, at the end of the day, it's up to you. Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. And I actually think that, let me look real quick here. That one is on like the second or third page of the book. Yeah, second page of content of the book. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate you being here. Talk to you next time. That's second or third page of the book, and I already started highlighting, and that was pretty awesome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I kind of want to keep these scopes short so that you can get in, listen to it, and get out. I'd really appreciate your feedback. I'll put this stuff up. You can find out more about me, and I'll put this up. Actually, let me put it up right now. There we go. That's my website, thomrigsby.com. This scope will be up there shortly, sometime today. You can come back there and comment. I'd love it if you'd follow me here on Periscope. Of course, you can find me on Twitter at Thom Rigsby. And all my connections are right there on the website, thomrigsby.com. Thanks so much for being here today. We'll be back again either tomorrow or Monday with another Coffee and Quotes. And be sure and listen for the podcast at 7minutesinthemorning.com. I'll talk to you soon.